On the 8th of December 2024, at Divine Visitation Assemblies, Prophet Andre Thomas, the prophet of fresh anointing and wisdom to nations, was taken in the spirit to Ottawa, Canada, and prophesied about a disruption coming to Canadian politics. Here is what he had to say.
So I was taken to Ottawa, and I heard the voice of the angel telling me political turmoil and political shifts in the land of Canada. 2025, it shall be turmoil. Turmoil on steroids. So the power base of the incumbent shall be shaken. You hear me? It shall be shaken. And the agenda and the colonization of Canada by spirits shall be halted.
Well, Justin Trudeau looks set to resign after two of his ministers resigned within minutes of each other. Here is the opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, explaining, whilst on the floor of Parliament, the chaos that ensued and has led to him possibly standing down any minute now.
The finance minister resigned the day she was to present the fall budget, which was going to contain a massive deficit overrun. The job then went automatically to the industry minister, who immediately resigned, like on the spot, which then went down the line, and the next person in order was the famous two Randys. Why won't the Prime Minister have the courage to come in here, present it himself, and put it for a confidence vote tonight?
Their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process.
Oh, don't look and see, what is happening? Things are in a mess. No, the Spirit says, I am behind it. You shall see from capital to capital where I know, said the Spirit, that there have been plans hatched. I shall disrupt it. How do I disrupt? The Lord of the Lord came to me saying, study Genesis chapter 11 and see how I, the Lord, disrupt. I look at the sons of men and I give them a different language, and allies can no longer understand themselves, and they start fighting themselves. And so the plan to build the Tower of Babel was disrupted. He said, they shall fight themselves because they shall no longer understand each other's language. I shall scatter. In your words, a disruption. So I see angels of disruption. Catechesis. Angels of disruption. Now, don't get caught up in the news media saying it's a mess. When you see it, smile, because it's a mess that opens the door for the church. It's a mess that stops the agenda of Satan, because it was an agenda of Satan. It was an agenda of Satan to build the Tower of Babel. And so the towers unto demon spirits that are being and have been erected in different parts of the world, I, the Lord, shall send my angels to disrupt it. So there shall be mass disruptions in the parliaments, capitals, and political operations of those that had been allied to the demonic agenda to bring the atmosphere and the influence of the tribulation before the rapture. Didn't hear what I just said? So there are those that are aligned with demon spirits to bring the atmosphere of the tribulation before the tribulation. And I, the Lord, have dispatched my angels, and there shall be mass disruptions. So don't get caught up. The media are just reporting. So think of what the media will report on the day everyone went to the construction site, and then the foreman began speaking French, and the mason started speaking Italian, and then the actual plumber started speaking Spanish. I mean, what would the media report on that day? That it was a whole mess. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what has happened. It's just a whole mess. But that mess preserved my agenda. So don't get caught up in the language of those who are horrified by the mess. It is of my making. I'm messing up their plans, said the Spirit of God. But know this, when the mess happened, what did I do? I found a man in the mess called Abraham, and I created the nation of Israel. The next thing I did after that mess is called Abraham. So in the midst of this mess, the Abrahams of this generation are being raised up. So in Canada, don't get caught up. Understand that the great disruptor shall disrupt even further. Brast vistas. And old allies shall break alliances. And it is of my doing. I am causing them to speak a different language. For the anointing of Genesis chapter 11 has now fallen on the earth.
Justin Trudeau has announced he's stepping down as the Prime Minister of Canada and as the leader of his party. He's been in office for 9 years. He also announced the temporary suspension of Parliament. Mr. Trudeau has been under pressure to resign for months, with more than 20 fellow members of his Liberal Party publicly urging him to go. Well, here he is making his announcement on the steps of the Prime Ministerial residence in Ottawa.
I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Prophet Dr. Andre Thomas, the prophet of fresh anointing and wisdom to nations.